We are about to embark on an immersive journey through the corridors of our minds. Stand by as we prepare for departure.
Welcome aboard, everyone, to the Productivity with Peace of Mind podcast adventure. Our journey will begin in just a moment. Inhale deeply and exhale. Our voyage takes us on a captivating tour, diving deep into the intricate layers of our thoughts and imagination. Brace yourselves for the complexities of our evolution. For a safe and enjoyable journey, stay seated, secure your helmet and protective goggles, and keep hands, feet, and legs inside while the ride is moving. Now relax and enjoy.
What if I told you it's possible to unlock your creativity and achieve your big goals without burning out or sacrificing all of your free time? Being a multi passionate professional who is highly ambitious can sometimes make it difficult to know what exactly to focus on. And I think that's the number one thing I hear, whether it's working professionals, leaders, or entrepreneurs. They ask me, how do I know what to focus on? How do I know where to put my energy? And this is why I created my Find Your Focus worksheet. And I'm going to walk you through the process that I created through that worksheet. But don't worry, don't feel like you have to write it all down or capture this all. There will be a link under the podcast episode where you can download your own Find Your Focus worksheet and follow along. And this worksheet is editable, so you can download a copy and then make as many copies of that as you want so that you can take all of your dreams through this process. Together, we will find our focus, become clear on the goals that we're setting, and be able to set goals that we can actually achieve without the overwhelm, and then build our plan to put it into action. We'll start by zooming out to identify your goals and everything that you've been thinking about, dreaming about. And then we'll focus in on those actionable steps and figure out how to break that down in a very easy way that opens up your creativity and allows you to achieve those big goals without burning yourself out. We'll start by zooming out. And I want you to start thinking about all of your goals or projects or dreams that you've either been thinking about and not getting started on, or maybe you're feeling stuck or not necessarily making progress in the way that you want to. So take some time to pause the audio and write those all out and get a good list going. From your first list, pick one or two or a few of your top favorites, or maybe the most important ones to you. Then we want to start thinking about why these goals are important to us. So ask yourself what it will mean for you. How will you feel reaching this goal? What will that look like in your everyday life? What does it mean for those around you? Why is this something that has been keeping you up at night or stuck in the back of your mind that you just can't seem to shake? So list out everything that comes to mind. You can always clean up your why later or make it more succinct, but just start by brainstorming what this means to you and your why behind the goal that you've selected from the list above. As you listed out everything that your goal means to you, reflect on if this is something you truly want. Is there a strong why? Is there an important meaning behind it? If there is, we'll move to the next question. If there's not, I want you to pause and pick another one. Pick another one from your brainstorm list in the first question. So once you have narrowed down one or two goals and you've understood that this truly is something you want, you have a strong reason behind what it means to you and your life and the impact you want to make, narrow it down to one if you haven't already. And I want you to start to brainstorm what it takes to complete this. So think of everything that you possibly might need to do. Of course, you're not going to think of everything ahead of time. We can never anticipate every possible thing. However, think of for a minute everything that you can consider, everything that comes to mind. Take a few minutes to think through this. And when you get to the end of the list, ask, what else? What else? When you finish this list, first of all, make sure you've covered everything you think it might take. As an example, for writing my book, I had to consider my creation of the outline, my organization of content, my first written draft, going back and editing each chapter, each section, hiring an editor, finding my editor, having the editor actually go through the book, figuring out the publishing process, deciding self-publish or going after traditional, and then that whole process to get that done, the actual process of publishing, the launch process, building a launch team, etc. So you get the idea. So make sure you have everything written down and take a minute to consider if you're willing to do all of the things this takes. And the reason I ask this question is because sometimes we have a goal or a dream. Let's say you want to be a speaker and you want to speak on stages. But as you brainstorm everything it takes to get there, all the practicing and the talking and the standing on stages, standing in the bright lights, talking to people, networking, answering questions afterwards, and all of the interaction it takes, you start to realize, yeah, no, that's actually not what I want my day-to-day life to look like. And I don't want to have to spend time doing that. You can realize I liked the idea of it, but I don't actually like what it takes. And here's the thing, with every goal, with every journey, and everything we decide to go do and go after, we must commit to the journey it takes to get there, because if we don't, we are so much more likely to give up and not reach our destination because it wasn't worth it. It wasn't big enough. It wasn't meaningful enough. That's why we go through the why and figure out, what does this mean to me? And then what it takes. Am I willing to do this? The last thing I want for you is to go after a dream and start taking action only to realize halfway through, yeah, this isn't for me. I want you to know that now. I want you to be so crystal clear on where you're spending your time and the dreams and projects you're going after so that your time is so efficient and so purposefully and intentionally spent that you feel amazing about it. And you can get even more done because, again, you're not wasting that time. You're not wasting it on what didn't matter. You're not wasting it on what you didn't actually really, truly want or were willing to do. So, really consider this. Are you willing to take action? And for whichever goal you picked for this exercise, if your answer is no, go back to your list. Go back to the beginning and pick another one and then take it all the way through. Make sure you don't skip the why section if you're starting over. For the second half of this exercise, we're going to focus in and really make this real. Work backward from achieving this. So put your mind and your brain all the way to having achieved this goal. When is it? Where are you? What does that look like? and then work all the way back to today. And in the last part, in the last section, we broke down everything it took. So you can use that to start plugging and playing with the pieces to figure out where they go. Consider what you need to do today. What do you need to do tomorrow, next week, in 3 weeks, next month, next quarter? Build that plan out from now until whenever you're reaching that goal. And I want you to make sure you do have a set date and time for when you're going to reach that goal. And your breakdown of what your plan looks like will be either more or less complex, depending on if you are having a really big, audacious goal that takes 3 years, or you have a 3-month goal that you want to accomplish in the next few months. Either way, we need a date for when we're going to complete it and achieve it. And we need a plan all the way back to today, even if it's something years out. We have to start working on it today, or it will never happen. If we don't start working on it today, we stay in that place of constantly waiting and hoping and dreaming, and that deadline gets further and further away. Now we're going to commit to whatever it is you have set out for yourself. Because when we talk about what it takes to get there, are we willing to do that? We then want to actually make a verbal or written or mental commitment to ourselves and detail out exactly what that will look like. So if you're writing this out, it might sound like, I am making the commitment to myself to create or achieve or produce, fill in the blank. What is the big goal? What is the actual thing that is measurable that you will have done where it's so easy for yourself to say, yes, I achieved this by fill in your due date, resulting in what is the impact this is making? This is where your why comes back into place. What does it mean to you? This helps you remember and come back to your fuel that will keep you going all the way through and across the finish line. When we have that strong why and we believe in ourselves and we already have thought through everything it takes to get there, we're willing to do whatever it takes to achieve them. All right. And this final piece is where we transition from dreaming and planning and detailing out our map to get there to the place where we actually start taking action, moving the needle, and seeing results. And you might have the entire plan that you just built out on your calendar or your planner or wherever you manage everything that you're doing in your day-to-day life. But I want you to consider the next few steps you're going to take. So you might just think about the next 3 things you need to do right now to get the ball rolling. You have already fueled everything that you want to do with a strong why and a belief in yourself and a desire to do what it takes to get there and actually enjoy the journey. And when we have all of that behind us, our engine is revving, and then we actually take a few steps in the right direction, something magical happens where momentum takes over. We take the next few steps and we're excited to keep going. It builds confidence in ourselves. It builds belief that we can do it, that we're actually moving toward what we said we were going to do. And that is beautiful. When we understand the why behind our goal and then commit to doing whatever it takes, we become unstoppable. You've built your plan. You know exactly what you need to do next. And now it's time to take consistent action on your plan. You built it out. You have paved the road for yourself to get there. And now it's time to just continue walking in the same direction to reach your goal. And you can come back and go through this process for any goal that you have, from zooming out to identifying what those dreams are, to focusing in on your actionable, tangible, real steps, measurable steps that you are going to take. You will be so clear on what you need to and want to focus on in order to achieve massive success. I promise you, once you make this commitment to yourself and start taking action, you will be unlocking new and next levels of yourself, doing things the past you might have not even realized was possible. So now that you have your plan, go start taking action. And I am so excited to see what you go out into the world and create. Thank you for braving the inside of your mind with me. The better we understand ourselves, the more deeply we understand the world. And as our awareness grows, life just gets better and better. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to leave a review and share this with anyone else you think could benefit from listening. A quick reminder that the content shared in this podcast is for informational purposes only. I am not a licensed therapist, and the discussions here are not a substitute for professional advice. If you're dealing with a specific issue or need personalized guidance, please consult with a qualified professional. Your well-being is important, and this podcast is simply a platform for sharing insights and experiences. I appreciate you spending this time with me. Until next time.